Hey, good evening, everyone. Paul here, 10 to 8 on the 12th. Wanted to hop online and have a chat tonight about medicinal marijuana. We released some ordinances today that will outline the approach that our administration is proposing in response to IM 26, which was passed overwhelmingly by the voters last year. And so municipalities are now at the point where we are having to roll out ordinances and how we're going to enact that law in our cities. What's one of the good things about that law and the way it was written is there's a lot of local control that's provided, which means some states this is regulated more at the state, and states kind of say how this will be enacted. We, on a local level, have the ability to kind of craft the policies according to how we think is best for our community. So, as we looked at the topic of medicinal marijuana, which, by the way, I voted for. We wanted to determine what the best approach would be for Sioux Falls, while still taking into account the fact that it's still a very polarizing topic, and there's a lot of opinions on it. So here's what we announced today. We're going to be proposing, and ultimately the City Council will approve this, 5 medical marijuana dispensary licenses in our community. This will allow up to 5 potential dispensaries out of the gate in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Does that mean that will be the limit forever? No. We can always expand up from that if we ever needed to. However, if you start high, you can never throttle that back. And I've had people reach out to me and say, well, what about casinos then? Are you going to limit those? Well, I can't, because they're all over, because we started without the right regulations in place. I'm not against that industry, but I think everyone would like to have had a little more pragmatic approach to the zoning and where those are allowed. So that's where we're starting on this issue. What's nice about that approach too is that it does provide a large amount of patient access. And when people say, well, it's would you limit pharmacies? I have to always remind folks that, again, marijuana is a class 1 drug. It is not an FDA approved drug. So this is different than a pharmacy. And so I know some people don't see it that way, but legally the law sees it that way. So we have to just regulate it in such a fashion. Also, we've been taking our cues from some other municipalities. For instance, looking at the state of North Dakota. State of North Dakota has 8 total dispensaries in their entire state. Entire state of North Dakota. There's 1 in Fargo, North Dakota. Our ordinance would allow for up to 5 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. North Dakota, after almost 2 years, I believe, of having their program in place, has 6,000 registered card holders for medicinal marijuana in the whole state. And so I think 5 will be absolutely plenty, and that's just in Sioux Falls. There is potential for there to be dispensaries in Brandon and in Hartford and in Harrisburg and in T. And so quite honestly, in our two county area, there's going to be plenty of access for people who need medicinal marijuana. And we want to make sure they have that. And so this is a very kind of smart, pragmatic approach that doesn't alter or change the fabric of our community. As I said, I voted for IM 26. I'm a supporter of IM 26. I have a good friend whose wife passed away from cancer, and medicinal marijuana is the one thing that gave her relief. And so I want patients to have access to medicinal marijuana in this community, but I also want to do it in a smart and pragmatic way that doesn't change the fabric of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Now, on the topic of recreational marijuana, I was talking with a group tonight, and they didn't know that issue is actually currently being challenged in the Supreme Court of South Dakota. So this is only medicinal marijuana issues we're dealing with today. We're waiting to see what the Supreme Court decides on that challenge. If the challenge is upheld and recreational marijuana is deemed unconstitutional based on the way that law was written, then they go back to the drawing board, either go back to the vote again or determine how that will get rolled out. If the challenge is ruled is thrown out, then we will move ahead with recreational ordinances, which will be different than medicinal marijuana ordinances. So hopefully the people of Sioux Falls, the vast majority at least that I'm hearing from, appreciate this kind of smart, middle-of-the-road approach to ensuring we have access in the community, which this will do. So if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to our office. More is going to be coming out on this in the weeks and months ahead, but that's the big thing to know right now. Sioux Falls, we're going to look at having 5 dispensaries in this community. We're going to look at charging a $100,000 fee every 2 years for these dispensaries to operate. Their hours of operation will be 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. All those things are outlined in the ordinance. It's a very smart way to approach this topic. So, hope that makes sense. I just wanted to answer some questions. I know that there will certainly be some people who maybe won't read beyond the headline of a newspaper article, and I just wanted to unpack why we're doing what we're doing. Some people have asked, why 5? Why not 50? Why not 1? Why not 10? Well, again, just going back to our population base and what proper access looks like for kind of a specialty quote medicine like marijuana, we felt 5 was a very smart number to land on. Again, looking at what they're doing in North Dakota, with the fact that Fargo has 1, and their state Department of Health also reached out to us and said, based on the usage and based on the number of card holders that we have, we don't see a need to expand this program any further at this point. So that was pretty telling. We don't always like to compare ourselves to North Dakota, but we are very similar, and so we have the benefit of seeing how their program has gone, and kind of learn from that and try and follow their lead a little bit. So that's what I know. I wanted to just jump online and share this with you guys. Please know that we're trying to do the right thing by the community. The right thing for people who rely on medicinal marijuana to get pain relief or relief from anxiety or whatever ails them. And so voters spoke on this, and we're working to enact it in a very kind of smart, pragmatic way. So thanks for joining me tonight. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy these last few days of summer, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.